Hello. I was going to listen to Debbie from Swindon. Not going to happen. And he was like, are you sure you don't want to speak? 3 days. I'd had lunch with these people, had no confidence. And so I was like, I have nothing to say. Go home on the train that night. Oh my gosh, did I kill myself? Of course. I was like, what an idiot. That was the best opportunity you had and you blew it. So I remember speaking to him a couple of days later on a text and saying, look, I can't compete with the 3 degrees of Mr. NLP, but I can tell the story, because what happened is I'd gone on his event and I'd gone out from that Rockstar Social that I'd attended, realised I knew so much more about social media. There's a pattern here, right? Still didn't think I knew what I was doing. Knew more about social media and literally picked up a contract for 35 grand a week later. And so I then told that story. And so that became my panto story in front of his people. So he would go do the events and go, do you want to hear from one of my team? And then I'd have this lovely story. It still wasn't me talking, I was just talking about him. So the Debbie from Swindon came on forever. And he always just said to me, Debbie, you can come on my stage anytime. But they wanted to talk about money. They wanted to talk about how they made millions for people and how they built billions and how they'd sold this much cars and sold all that stuff. And everything I tried to do, he was either already doing, or I just felt rubbish. I just felt like I was an idiot as such. And so this Debbie from Swindon stayed like a cheeky monkey on my shoulder for so long. It's not funny, until I decided to come away from Adam. And then I was starting to do my bike ride in India, and people started to listen to this story about this car accident, being told I was in a wheelchair. And I realized, actually, it isn't all about the money. When you're talking to people, it's about you, and that people actually want to hear your story and what you're doing, more so than they want to hear about the money, the millions that you could make them, because it's not relatable. And so I, very short track, decided that I would pick myself. I would choose myself, because I started to hear people saying, I love the podcast, I love this. So it's more a case of like, I wanted to be a professional speaker. I used to watch the speakers and go, how do I do that? I don't know how to do it. Even my friend said to me, how are you going to be a speaker? You don't even know what you're going to talk about. And I was like, I don't care. I just know that that's going to happen, and I'll work that bit out when I get there. And it was total blind confidence, because I really did not know what I was going to talk about. And then I did start to talk about the bike ride. And I started to meet people who were paid speakers, professional. I was like, how does this work? How does it work for you? And I was told to run around the country and just speak at events for free until someone pays you, or go to the WI and the colleges for a year and then get a showreel and somebody might pay you. So the showreel I did, I met Diane in New York, speaking in New York. Then I decided that actually those two were too difficult, and I was going to do something that was much quicker, which was my TEDx. So even though I still had my Debbie from Swindon, this is never going to happen, I applied for a TEDx. And I applied for it with the mentality of, if I don't fill in this form, it's definitely a no. If I do fill in the form, I can turn that no into a maybe. That's it. That's all the conviction I had, is that I could turn it into a maybe. And actually, they turned it into a yes. Small detail is that when I applied for TEDx Western U London, I did not know that it was London, Canada. I thought it was London in the UK. But the yes was a yes, and we got on the plane. So I think it's just a case of like, I took the control to go, I'm going to control. So I'm not going to run around and speak to people at the WI and let them choose when they're ready to pay me. I made this decision, even though I did not feel ready, not in any way, shape or form. I don't know if anyone else has ever had a scenario like this, where you're doing something and you're literally, it's a leap of faith. I can promise you, the day after I did my TEDx, I asked myself if I could call myself a speaker. The day after, I was in the hotel room and I thought, I wonder if I could call myself a speaker now. And then was like, Deb, what? What more do you want? What more do you want? You've just done a TEDx. But I know people who've done TEDx that have done 4. I know people who are getting paid 25 grand for speaking. So that comparison is always there. And so I was like, do you know what? I'm calling myself a speaker. And if anybody wants a row, I'll show them a picture. Okay. So it's very much about you showing up, you deciding to be ready. So I have a question for you guys. Where have you been waiting to feel ready? And either put it in the notes or journal it in the notes would be lovely. Where have you been waiting to be ready? And what would change if you already were? We're digging deep tonight, sorry.
Deb, can you explain a little bit more? I'm not quite sure I understand. It's Diane, sorry.
Okay, hi. So if you were, so for me, I wasn't ready to do the TEDx. I wasn't ready to stand on the stage. I didn't feel like I was a speaker, but I was sent a link from Corey, who we both know, to say this people are accepting applications for TEDx. And it had happened twice. So the first time I'd gone, no, they don't fit, whatever. And I know people have done 300 applications for TEDx's. So the next time an opportunity was put in front of me, instead of going, actually, I'm not ready for this, I said, if I don't do it, it's definitely a no. There's no jeopardy here. That's the safe option. I'm not ready, and we'll wait for when I am ready. But actually, what I did was I went, okay, let me fill the form in. And I was very blasé, I've got to be honest, very blasé when I filled the form in. And so then I was like, okay, so now that's a maybe. So had I not done that, would I be where I am now? No. So what I'm saying to you is, what is the thing that you're waiting to perfect? What's the thing that's stopping you? What do you need? What more do you need? And if you had that thing, so for me, it was like, I felt like I needed a TEDx to fast track myself. And if I had that TEDx, what did it do? It changed my life. So what is it for you? And I give you a couple of minutes. And then if anybody wants to share, if they've realised and they want to share, then please do share. We're a very small group. And so I love it when it's a small group. So Diane, let me see if I can see your comment. Diane, I agree. I feel I need a TEDx for credibility. Absolutely. Claire, I don't know what to speak about, so I don't feel ready. Confidence. Why would anybody listen to Claire from Cornwall? We're getting T-shirts with this on. You know that, don't you? Like when I am rich and famous, I will have the Debbie from Swindon merch. You'll have hats, T-shirts, sweatshirts, pens, everything. It's coming. I'm manifesting that. Okay. Anyone else? And Diane, I can tell you, you don't need that for credibility. And I know, having known Claire, you have so much to speak about. It's incredible. Let me show you something. And oh, okay. Oh, thank you. Let me show you something. So this is, I want to do this on my phone, but I want to be able to read my notes at the same time. I've lost your girls. Oh God, just go down. Right. Let me show you an exercise, and I've totally stolen this. I'm not going to take the credit, but I have I have this. So I have a piece of string. Okay. Actually, this is a bout. It's a really long bout. So there's two ends on the string. Okay. This end is the day you were born. And this end is the day that you're not here anymore. So this is your whole life journey. Okay. And I want to know where you are. Okay. So imagine you've got a piece of string here. Imagine it in your hands. Everything in between this end and this end is your life. Okay. Now I want you to look at the line and go, where are you on this line? Not in age. We're not talking about age today, but in aliveness, in what you want to achieve. Where are you? I'll give you an idea. For me, I had a bit of a crisis the other day. I'm 58. I decided I only had 10 good years left because I'm dealing with a dementia thing. So for me, I was like, I've just got this bit. I've just got this bit left. So what does that look like for me? Like that was a real, woke up on a Monday morning with that horror going, I've just got that left. Then I need like a panic to go, oh my gosh, I need to do everything that I dreamt of. I dreamt of it for all this, and all I've got left is this bit, type thing. So I want you to go, which bit are you on the string? Okay, which bit are you on the string of what you want to be, how you want your life to look, how you want, let's say you've got 20, 30 years left, how you want that to look, and what we need to do, like how you can be the person that you want to be in this stretch of string. This isn't a life or death thing. This is just going, if you think of the last 10 years, how fast has that gone? You know, if I think that was my fit, I was like, oh gosh, what if I've only not 10 years to live, but 10 years before I kind of have this thing that 70 is when everything kind of falls apart a little bit, because that's what I'm experiencing. Okay. So for my good years, good years, there's 12 left. What does that look like? And what do I need to be to live the life that I want? I want you to just write that down for yourself, or you can write it in the comments. It's up to you. How much have you been the person that you desire to be? I'm halfway to 3/4 of the way. Okay. I think I don't know exactly what I want. So Taryn, and so don't know what I need. I'm still trying to figure that out. So I chase different goals, but I don't entirely succeed because I don't do well enough. Who decides that it's not well enough, Taryn? Is that you deciding, or is that somebody else deciding? And how are you comparing yourself? We all do it as women. I think it's mainly women. That's why this is for women, and my groups are for women, is because we are so mean to ourselves. Like, so mean to ourselves. It's not funny. I'm the hardest person. I'm like, my kids say you've got higher standards than the Queen. But imagine what my standards for me are if what theirs are is such. Joe is, I want to do more for charity, for campaigning, but still have the income to have as much fun as possible while doing it. High five that. Kerry, I can't seem to give myself permission to focus on my creative joy and market on my business. So I lose motivation, give into the imposter syndrome, and never get anywhere. Like, honestly, Kerry, been there. I have at least worn that t-shirt, if not made that t-shirt, before now. So I want you to think, like, what has happened? Like, have you been waiting to feel ready? Are you living for someone else's expectations? Some of you sound like you've forgotten what your own voice sounds like. So I think it's like, we don't get to control this. Okay. We don't get to control where that end is, and we don't get to control. I love it. Yeah, Claire. I want to enjoy the income. I want to enjoy doing the things I want to do in my remaining time. Yes. That's the dream, isn't it? Right. We were brought up to know that this dream could happen. We can't control this. We're born, and we can't control this, but we can control this middle bit. We can decide to control that middle bit. One of my things last week, I wasn't going to share this, to be perfectly honest. One of my things last week was I was on holiday. I ran away. I'm not going to lie to you. I literally ran away. I booked on the Tuesday, went on Saturday. Didn't even have time to call you, Claire, because I just needed to get away. My mum's been in hospital with dementia. People who know me know that I've had like a whole year of medical help, but the last 3 months has been insane. And last Thursday, I'd come out of all the groups and stuff like that. And so last Thursday, I was like, okay, well, I woke up in the morning feeling really anxious, really antsy. You just like swim the ocean or climb a mountain or do something that's really and I couldn't understand myself of why I did. So I go and talk to my friend, the ChatGPT, and it was really interesting because it said that's your mind is preparing you to go home for the trauma of coming home. And I said to my husband, why is it such a horror show? Why is our life such a horror show? And in that second, I was like, that's no one's fault but my own. I'm choosing to be too responsible. I'm choosing to not take the help and stuff that's there. And I was like, that can't happen. I have to change it. I have to decide to be that person who can step back. I have to decide to be the person who does this, because this I love. This literally feeds my soul, is to kind of share with you what helps me to try and help you. So we decide. There's lots of external stuff. We've all got complications. You know, I've got lots of things going on, but I was too involved. And it took me running away to realize I was. Now, sometimes we don't have that opportunity to be involved. And also, my friend told me this story. So my question to you is, if your string ended tomorrow, how proud would you be of how visible, brave, honest you've been? How proud of the moments that you stood up for yourself and you spoke up for yourself? All the stories that you still got to tell? How proud would how would other people see you, and how much have you still got left to do? So I'm going to ask you to write something, and I want you to say, what do I want the rest of my string to look like? This is literally a belt off my dress, actually. What do I want the rest of my string to look like? And who do I need to become to live that life fully? Again, put it in the chat if you'd like to, or keep it private if you don't. And this may change. You may say something tonight. I love that, Jo. I would be proud. I'm happy with what I've done, but I'm sure there's more I want to do. See, I love the first bit, but the second bit is like, I think there might be something more I need to do. Is that because you don't know, or because you're too scared to own up to what you might want to do? Because this is about being bold and stepping into that dream. So Diane, I would be proud, also need to take the next steps. And that's fabulous, because that's what we're here to do. Claire, I haven't told my story, and I'm proud of what I've tried and succeeded, as well as what I've tried and failed. We've all tried and failed. That's the whole thing, isn't it? You try, get back up, and eventually that's the life experience. There's a lot more to come. Absolutely. Absolutely, there's a lot more to come. And I think, you know, for everybody, someone's give you a little love heart for that, actually. I think you've got a couple. So we don't have to rewrite our whole life story tonight, okay? We just need to do one one little bit. I'm not going to go to the end, actually, because that's quite scary, right? We just need to do this bit, that bit, okay? I've given myself a bigger ending than I had before. I feel like I've been more generous to myself. We just need to go one sentiment, 1 minute, one decision, one small action. You know, the 1% thing every day. If you're 1% braver or better or more decisive or more courageous every single day, where you're going to be in a year's time, the compound effect is huge. And so even if we fail 99% of our ambitions, but we did one, we're still going to be 300% better in a year's time, which is a weird fraction, to be honest. We just need to take a decision, take an action that says, from this moment, right now, 1903, we're doing it differently. We're deciding to do it differently. We're deciding to be doing some of these things that we dream of, because we're not here to dream. We're here to experience and to do. Who's that, Jo? I think at the moment I'm just starting to get more work after a summer of not having any, and that is a big thing for all of us entrepreneurs, that we park all the happiness until we've solved that problem. But sometimes when you flip it, the opportunities come. Looking forward to them, but they are next year, and need to keep the income momentum to ensure I can keep up nice things. Absolutely. I like what Taryn says. I like what Kerry said, proud but not satisfied. I think our nature as entrepreneurs is the top of the mountain is the bottom of the next one. And we just have to accept that. We climb a mountain and then we see a bigger one over there and we're like, we've got to climb that one now. And we will always do that for the rest of our life, right? But what we can't do is also what most entrepreneurs wake up single and wondering what happened, successful and single. Go and look at most people who are successful. They're not in that relationship. So it's about having a balance of everything. So this is like, now we've looked at that, let's have a look at who is the person that's at the other end of the string, the person that's at the other end of becoming, okay? So this is a bit woo for me, but I'm going with it anyway, okay? So I need you to remember who you were or who you are now. So I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. And this is totally weird. Claire's going to go, what is she doing? Told you, I've had an aha. I've had an aha. And Diane's going to be like, oh my gosh. Close your eyes. Okay. And I want you to picture that woman that you need to become. I want you to picture her. What does she's walking into the room that you're in, okay? You're stood in a room and it's a lovely room and she's walking in the door. How does she move? How does she speak? What's her energy like when she's walking in the room? What does she think about herself? What doesn't she apologize for? And I want you to really try and visualize that. And it will be elusive maybe, but just visualize, who's that person? What does she look like? What's she wearing? What does she smell like? What does she like? Who is this person? Visualize her. This is the person that you're going to become. But she's not a fantasy. She's you. She's already you. She's already inside here. We just need to let her out. We just need to let her out. So I want you to write down the woman I'm going to become in believes. What does she believe? That she's good enough? That she's clever enough? That she's smart enough? That she's successful? That she wants to run away or be here? What does she believe? My person used to believe she was Debbie from Swindon who had nothing to say. I had to get rid of her. So let me check the comments. Carefree. I love that. Carefree. That's from Diane. Jo, she lights up with her memories. Yes. See how powerful this is? So powerful to be able to visualize this person who's really you, is really you. But she's the you before the world told you who to be. She's the you before everyone else's expectations squished you down. All the obligations, all the shouldas, all the should it be doing, should it be caring for my mum, should it be there on tap every 2 seconds, should it be more successful, more masculine, more, all the millions of things that I had. She's the you, the real you, before you started masking. This is probably irrelevant actually, but after my accident, I didn't fit into the gym. So obviously I was not walking for 6 months and then told I was going to be in a wheelchair. And I lived, my salon was in a gym. These people talk squat weights when you go on a night out with them and start doing press ups when they're drunk. So if you were not physically, and Jo might have experienced this, that sometimes it's hard to fit into that lifestyle. And I tried to do all the stuff that I used to do and couldn't. And a couple of years ago, when my friend said about exercising and trying, because I turned myself into this business Debbie, and fit Debbie was in a cupboard. She was out of the way because she just didn't fit into my life anymore. And she said to me, fit Debbie is not dead. She said, fat Debbie's just sitting on it. And I was like, wow, that's harsh. But do you know what? It was true. My husband is doing something really weird across the kitchen. Just ignore him. It's coming in a hoodie. I thought I was being robbed. Just beer for the football. But it was a real, like, she said it, and I was just, I wanted to argue with her and literally fight with her and say, no, that's not possible. And then the next day I was like, well, what if the other person was still in there? And I was just squishing it, not necessarily because I was facts, but I was just denying that she even existed. And then I kind of had this little vision in my head of these stick figures of this one Fit Debbie led on the floor and Fat Debbie going, I forgot you existed. And I sent it to her and she was like, that's so cool. But I did, I forgot she existed. I forgot that other person existed. And I think we all have forgotten this other person, this like dreamer, maybe the person that we were when we were a kid, this dreamer, this person who had massive ambitions. Everyone's like, don't be stupid, that's rubbish. You can't do that, be practical. That person, that dulls us down and takes our personality away. And we need to let that person come back out that's bold enough to say what they want to do and don't care what other people say. And Fit Debbie cycled 370 kilometers around India after that. Kerry, she believes she's fulfilled and worthy of the space she's trying to make for herself. She says yes more. I love it. I literally love it. So this is about identity, which is a really weird thing. I hate the word identity, but it is about an identity. It's about the identity of who you thought you were and the identity of the person that you need to step into or shed that old identity. I prefer that. I prefer to say to you, this is the identity that you need to let go of. So it could be that you do that conversation again that we just did, that watching her walking into the room, and walk over and shake her hand and say hi. Say hi, it's great to meet you. We're going to be friends. And then you make that person who walked in the room say to you, thanks, but I don't need you anymore. Thank you. Thank you for everything you've been. And literally take that new identity. It could be that you just do that. And it isn't something that necessarily happens overnight. I'm pretty sure that it took me a while, and it was every time I was applying for speaking gigs and sometimes getting them and sometimes getting turned down. I constantly question, am I not good enough? Am I not interested enough? My coach once told me that I was boring as a speaker, that I was boring, and that sits on my shoulder big style when I'm like, why is everyone else getting booked and I'm not getting booked? It sits there, well, because you're boring, Deb. He once told me he's a very harsh coach, to be fair, but he once said to me when I first started doing videos in the COVID, I did a thing called the COVID Diaries. And I obviously, in our coaching network, I interviewed some of the people, and actually that one who's talking about the Fit Debbie. And he said, people said you're too flat. You're too boring. Have a glass of wine before you pick up the microphone. And I was like, outrageous. But I was really scripted at that stage. Like, notice there's no slides tonight. I'm not going to kill you with slides. I'll give you my knowledge, but I'm not going to bore you with slides. At that stage, I had 32 questions that I wanted to ask people how their business was. We went through all the questions bit by bit. Like Joe's been on my podcast. I got 8 questions now, and they're a bit more fun and a bit more funky. But I had 32 questions, and I went through them all one by one. And he said, the feedback is that you're flat. And so I was so offended. So offended. I thought, oh, screw you. He was like, but you look lovely. You know, you look really nice. I had a Christmas tree and I had makeup on, and I'd been a model for my friend for the fat injections. And so I had like massive bruises around my neck. So I had a polo neck on. And he was like, you look great. It just was like all fairy and fluffy. And I was bruised like somebody tried to strangle me, to be fair. And so I thought, right, that's it. And I threw the rule book out, said, that's it. I'm going to be animated. And I didn't have the wipe. I was more animated than a children's TV presenter, trust me. I was almost like singing and dancing in jazz hands. And then I watched it back and I was still not animated enough and wasn't confident enough. And that was just like, it made me angry and it made me change the pace and made me a better person. But he still put me in this box of who he thought that I should be, who he thought that I should be like. I should be like him. And I noticed this in a lot of coaching circles. I did by the time I finished working for him for 5 years and toured the country and taught hundreds of people, I sounded like him. And I look at the people that work for him now, and they all sound like him because he's such a strong personality. Made me be somebody until I decided that actually I didn't want to do that anymore. I was like very educated in the ways of like spirituality and stuff. I didn't understand that there was a masculine and a feminine personality. I thought just one. And clearly I sat in the masculine, right? I just thought there was just one, that you were like, work hard, play hard, give everything to your clients and be brutal to yourself. Give 24/7, 38 hours to your client. If you didn't need to sleep for days, then we didn't sleep for days. We just got the job done. And then burnt myself out massively. I was in a lifestyle where I was like, work hard, play hard, earn the good money, soothe myself with expensive holidays, with meals out, and then have to work hard, play hard to be able to afford those things. So I was in this massive pattern of having to soothe myself, and then I came away from it and didn't know what to do. But then I had to understand how to become this person who's comfortable in their skin, that sits in their skin, and I don't put on airs and graces for anybody. If somebody doesn't like me, then I'm like, okay, that's fine. If you don't like what I stand for, I will never teach somebody to speak on the stage and make them do all the arm stuff, go over here, raise your arms. There's some very technical speaking training out there that is very manipulative and very unnatural. I would teach you how to stand on the stage, be confident and be you. Because why would you not want to be you? Why would I not want you to be you? Because you're brilliant. I think every one of you is brilliant at what you do and your personalities. And if I got to know Taryn and Kerry more, I would probably think that you're brilliant, because you're gonna be, because you just are. So why would I want to try and be someone else? And why would I teach you to be someone else? I want you to be, for the crappiest saying in the world, the best version of yourself. I hate that saying. I want you to be the best yourself, not version, no versions, the best, the smartest, the proudest, the boldest, the most courageous person that you can possibly be, so that all the opportunities and all the doors that you want, that you've been knocking on, open before you even get there. Because people understand who you are, what you stand for. There's no moodiness. I could do social media, I could do marketing. When I was like, I'm teaching you how to speak, I'm teaching you how to get on stage, teaching you how to get your message across, that's it. I don't, all the other stuff I can do, but this is what I do, is I help you to really hone in on what your superpower and your magic is, so that you can go and stand and be proud and people understand it. If you've ever done networking and someone walks away from you, you're like, even if I had a pot of gold, I would have no idea what you did. No, has anyone ever done that? Been to events and someone tells you what they do and you're like, what does that mean? Like, or they tell you they're so long and you still don't know, and you're like, if I had just gold here in my hand, I could have give it to you, is such. And it's because they've listened to all these different versions of what they should be, and it's all mushed up into Diane's like, oh my god, all the time. It happens all the time. But these people, they don't understand, and they're cringing when they've got to do their 1 minute stand up around the table. I do this, they say something completely different, and you're like, I met a guy who I thought he was a personal trainer, and he had a website. Chris Lampett is a good friend of mine now, but I spent a whole weekend on one of these Rockstar socials thinking the guy was a personal trainer, and he sold health insurance. Like a whole weekend, 3 days, and he was on the difficult table. I had a difficult table where I couldn't connect with any of them, but this guy, and I got right to the Sunday, and I was like, "Mate, I thought you was a personal trainer," and he was like, "Oh no, I just like fitness." So I would only have wanted to buy personal training from him because that's what I thought he did. And then, so it's just mad, isn't it? So hang on, let me just look at our messages. Taryn, powerful, effective, respected, and confident. I love it. And Diane, all the time. I'm forever being in rooms going, I just don't get it. I don't understand what you do. So I don't want that for you. I want for you to be the person that you need to be, the person that you want to be. More importantly, not who you need to be, not who you need to be for me, the person you want to be, the person who's gonna live this bit of string properly. That's gonna get to this bit and go, oh my God, I had a ball. I did everything. I will be, if no one else remembers me, I remember me. I remember me, and I've lived my life to what I want to do, and I got no regrets. That's where we need to be here, okay? Both business, life. I spent a long time trying to be thinner so I could have a better life, and that didn't work. And I then decided I didn't care and got loads of attention. Just madness, right? So I have given you a 7-day workbook, because doing this isn't a one-off thing. I can't tell you right now and you come off of this call and go, that's it, it's clicked, I've got it. Okay. Because tomorrow morning you'll be like, well, maybe I don't have it. Maybe I did have it last night and now I've had a dream, or somebody said something, or there's opportunities come along and now I don't have it. So let's just ignore that. Okay. So the workbook is some simple stuff like some anchors to keep you alive, one daily action, just one that moves you forward. I'm massive and don't overdo it. I'm obsessive. I'll go, I'm going to do 100 things. I can't do something small. I have to go extreme. I can't I signed up for a bike ride 370 kilometers around India in 5 days on the same year that I'm meant to be in a wheelchair because I just have a mad head. But I've learned that isn't the way to do it. So what I would say to you is if you step forward every day, okay, let's just do this in real life terms. So if you step forward, step up every day, 10 days, 11 days, 12 days, you step up and something goes wrong, because it's going to, it's just real life, right? Something goes wrong, and you have to step back maybe 1 or 2 steps. You're still ahead, right? If you stayed in the same place and you haven't stepped up and something goes wrong, you're still going to go back and you haven't even stepped ahead. Does that make sense? Because I've made that really confusing. If I stepped up every day for 20 days, I'm 20 steps ahead. Something goes wrong. The world goes to hell in a handcart, and it does sometimes, frequently for me. And I have to go back 5 steps. I'm at 15. If I'm on 0, I'm at -5. And I'm not even standing still. I'm going backwards. I'm going backwards in my what I want to achieve and what my dreams are. What's even worse is that all them other people are stepping up past me. So I'm not even standing still. I'm way back over here. So I want you to commit to just changing or moving or upgrading one thing, just one a day. If you know what that one thing that you could do, it could be, I've given you a journal. I'm not a big fan of journaling and gratitude, but I do wake up every morning and go, do you know what? I'm so lucky. I've been through a lot this year, but I still have a beautiful family. I have a house. I have 3 grandchildren, one of which is squeaky still, scrunchy new, 12 weeks. I've got great children. I've got a husband that does weird things in the kitchen when I'm on Zoom because he knows he should be in here. But I do the gratitude first, and then I go, okay, what problems do I need to deal with today? Does that make me super lucky? No. Does it make me recognize that actually I'm not getting up in the morning and going, today's going to be a terrible day? Because I'm going, it could be a terrible day. I'm super lucky where I'm starting, first of all, to have that platform so that if things do go wrong, I'm able to cope. And I'm able to bounce a little bit, or I'm able to move things around, because I guarantee you that every single one of you can do that. I know 3 of you definitely can, and the other 2, I 100%. I've got a psychic nature. No, we can all do it, right? We all do, and we do it all the time. Where do we beat ourselves up? Oh, because of all the things that go wrong. We're terrible because this goes wrong. We're terrible because we're overweight. We're terrible because we haven't done this for other people. We're never terrible because we haven't done anything for ourselves, because we don't think that's important. We don't think that ourselves are important. So our boundaries don't get in. I met a spiritual lady and she kept talking to me. I don't know if any of you are very spiritual, but she kept talking to me about this cup. And I was like, Sheena, she's a great friend of mine. I was, Sheena, I don't know what you're talking about. I really don't know. You keep telling me about it for like 2 years. She kept talking to me about it. And I was like, I don't understand. She's like, you have to fill your cup up. I was like, fill your cup up before you fill everybody else's cup up. And I was like, oh, she always talks in riddles. I'm like, can you not just tell me in a normal language so that I get it? And eventually I got it. Imagine yourself with a pint of whatever, water, okay? And I've got this pint of water and I give it first to Claire, and then to Joe, and then to Taryn, and then to Kerry, and then to Diane, and he gave it back to me. Probably the cup's going to be empty when it comes back to me. There's nothing left for me, not because you did it on purpose, because you took what you needed. So what I need to do, and what you need to do, is you need to drink out that cup first. take what you need, and then give it to the other people. So when it comes back to you and it's empty, it's okay, because you've let people have what you've got left over. And honestly, it took 2 years for that to click. Now I think, what on earth, Deb? So, but does that make sense to anybody? Are we all guilty of letting everybody else drink from that cup before we do? I want to see yeses in those comments if you are, because I was an idiot. It took me forever. Diane's definitely doing the thumbs up. Yeah, all the time. All the time. To our family, to Taryn. I love all the thumbs up. Oh my God, I love this. I don't know how you do it. Thank you, Taryn. But we're so guilty of this, aren't we? Of literally giving that part to other people. So you have to. And it's not, you're not being mean by having, thank you, Claire. You're not being mean by having these boundaries. You're just looking after you first, because otherwise you will burn out. And this piece of string, you know what it's like when you've like blown a candle out and the wick's all knackered and burnt, right? That's what our piece of string is going to look like. If we let other people do it first, we're going to have not a nice, healthy piece of string. We're going to have this knackered bit of wick that's all burnt and twisted, and you're having to dig about in the candle to relight it, which I had to do yesterday on a candle. It's outrageous. But you're going to have to get a knife in and dig around so you've got a little bit of wick to light to have the life. And that's not for us. That's not that person that walked in that room and you said hello to and you saw how she walked and moved. Was she a burnt out candle, little wick? No. So that's about protection. So the workbook is one daily action, one environment shift. So it isn't about, I did a talk on L'Oreal actually about habits of success. And one of the things I talked about, and as a hairdresser, being asked to speak at L'Oreal, I have to say it was the cream on my cake. It was like a full circle thing for me. They paid me a lot of money to just talk on Teams. It was fabulous. But that one of the things I talked about was habit stacking. Okay, we beat ourselves up. So I'm still doing all that fitness stuff, and now I don't go to the gym. And I think I can go to Lidl every day, right, and buy the wine and the dinner and the snacks, and the gym's right next door, like right next door on the same retail park. So how don't I spend an extra 20 minutes and go and cycle on a bike for 20 minutes and look at TikTok or look at some rubbish on my phone and then go to the supermarket, because I'm making time for the one that I feel like I have to, but I'm not making time for one that's good for me. That's called habit stacking. When I asked the L'Oreal people like what habit stacking they wanted to do, they were like, I want to read more, but I run a lot. So I was like, okay, then listen to an audiobook when you're running. It's done. It's about bringing in these environmental things that isn't a massive shift. It's a 1%. It's a 1% that helps you to just go, let me see if I can add this onto that. I listen to podcasts in the car. So I love to listen to a podcast, but I couldn't stay still enough to listen to a podcast at home. I can't even watch a movie without fidgeting. But I can listen to it in the car. 2 hours, Stephen Bartlett. That makes my journey go quicker. It stops my anxiety on the roads. And I'm listening to interesting people. So that's something easy for me. Could do an audiobook, could learn Spanish, I got all my shudders, like still they haven't vanished really. But there's lots of things I could do. So how do you fit this environmental shift into your day that's just simple? Do you go for a walk? Do you meditate? Can you listen to something? Could you do that visualization that I showed you? Could you just do that when you're in the shower in the morning? It doesn't take any time. You're going to be in the shower anyway. Imagine meeting that lady that you're going to be in the shower every morning. How fantastic would that be? And you're in the shower, and instead of thinking about your lumpy bits and all the bits that you need to get rid of and all the stubbly bits and all the, oh, I've got to go to diet, need to do this, you just had a little thing and went, hello, future me. I see you. And you're coming to talk to me this morning, and I understand how you are, and I recognize you, and I'm becoming you. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? And does it take up any more time? None. And you'd feel so much better than you would do about beating yourself up about bumpy bits. Because just let me tell you, the boys like the bumpy bits. We spent our life trying to get rid of them, and they love them. I don't know what's gone wrong there. The other one that I want you to do is something that stretches you. So I'm not going to be really easy on you. I want you to do something that, one connection that stretches you, one person that you think wouldn't be interested in talking to you. That could be an email, it can be a text, it can be a message, it could be outreach, it could be in your work, it could be in your personal life. So Joe, it could be that you go and speak to people who go onto the job sites and see who's advertising for a social media person, go and pitch yourself as an outreach, if you don't already do that. Go and ask to speak at an event and talk about your social media networking event, Mums in Business. Claire, get your story together, go and talk about your adventure travels and apply to, which you did. You did apply for the armchair thing, didn't you? But it could be, it doesn't have to be business. It's about becoming that person. So the bits that you're missing, the bits that you think, when I'm that person, I'll be able to do that. When I'm thinner, I'll be able to stand on the stage and I'll have the bodycon dress on. Oh, well, whatever. I'll wear Spanx. I don't care. I wear trainers on stage. I wore trainers for my TED talk because my feet don't work very well from the accident. And I would have been like, for my TED talk, my son was like, couldn't you have pretended and put some shoes on? And I was like, no, because that's just fake. And I would fall off the stage, probably. I'd be so worried about the shoes that I would have probably toppled off the stage. And it's bad enough that the lights came on halfway through and I had to be edited out. So it's like, what can you do? So in the notes, I'm going to ask you to own this now, because they say that writing it down makes it more real in your head, okay? What one small thing would your next level self do differently this week? You can speak it or you can type it. Diane. So Diane used to have a Long Island TV show. So hers is Yikes, and then you've moved house now. I've had Yikes. I've had it on my list to go talk to a local TV station about doing my show here in South Carolina that I used to in New York. I'm going to do it. Yes. Yes. Anybody want to be on Diane's show? I've been on it. It was superb. She looks so glamorous as a host. Trust me. Beautiful clothing. Always just looks glorious, glorious. Send us a link, Diane. Anybody else? Come on. What are you going to do? I'm trying conjuring for the first. What do you mean conjuring for the first time? Turn your mic off. On. Tell me what you mean.
So I've never done makeup properly.
Okay.
But this year, my partner and I have actually got the opportunity to do a couple's Halloween costume, which we have
Okay.
never done in the 20 years we've been together, despite them being a LARPer. So we are doing Elphaba and Glinda, and I'm Glinda. And Bill is going all out. Elphaba, there's green foundation, there's a green hair dye, there's a hat they're making. And
Amazing.
I thought, well, I have to make some kind of an effort for Glinda. So I looked up some makeup tutorials. And you know how scary those beauty influencers are, where they got all these colors and they're just throwing
I
them on their
know.
face. And this girl was like, oh, yeah, Ariana, she loves her contour as I did she now. And so she's throwing on all these sticks and things. And I'm not going to buy anything new, especially for this. It's for Halloween.
I
But
was
it's
going
okay,
to
I'll
say,
give,
you've got to go and buy all the makeup.
it's okay, right, I've got brown eyeshadow. I will give the contouring so you, there, and there. I'll give it a go.
I love it.
Yeah, so I've got 3 shades of brown, just an eyeshadow palette, really light, medium, and dark. So I'll try the dark one just for the practice. And because you put it on and you blend it in, and I just went, this just makes me look orange.
But like, how
And
does it make you feel to be doing something that's just completely out of your comfort zone?
I was glad I did the
Happy.
practice, let's put it that way. And then I had Phil check it over because their thing is makeup. And they went, you know what, you don't really need contour because you've got good cheekbones. I'm like,
Oh,
what?
nice.
Doesn't Ariana have good cheekbones? Why does she need contour? Oh, because she's got Glam Squad who know how to do it properly. So I've decided on Friday I will try it with the lightest shade because I'm blonde. So if you use dark, it does tend to look a bit extreme.
Well, all
And
I can
so,
say is hats off to you. I'm not even
yeah.
doing any dressing up for Halloween. I don't even have flipping sweets. I haven't got that far yet. The only
Yeah.
thing I saw was somebody did a pumpkin and they put the bag from a wine box in the pumpkin and made it into a little tap. And I was like,
we in a
that is a good idea.
household that shut the curtains and we don't answer the door on Halloween, but this year
I have
we're going to a
grandchildren.
party.
I have no
So-
choice. They'll be knocking on my door in their little outfits. One thing I'm going to say to you is the only thing I want to say is you said Aaron has got a glam squad and you don't. Don't compare. Doesn't matter. She's got a glam squad. It doesn't matter. You're stepping up. You're stepping out. You're doing something fun. You're doing something for the first time that you've ever done, and that is the big achievement. That's the 100%.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I decided I'm not going to follow the tutorial on Friday night because now I know the basics of what to do. So I'm just
Yeah.
going to be doing me and not what someone else says.
That's exactly what we love. That is exactly what we love. Oh, everyone's giving you hearts. Everyone's giving you hearts. So
Thank you very much, everyone.
So anybody else want to share something that they're going to do that is different, next level? Kerry, Claire, Taryn? So Kerry, stop work at a reasonable hour, mute client WhatsApp and script podcast for half an hour. Stop procrastinating. Love it. I have so for me, I was listening to Tony Robbins when I first did my bike ride. I used to sit this side of the kitchen until 7:30, and then at 7:30 I go over there and start cooking dinner. There was no gap in between. And I listened to this Tony Robbins thing, and he said, for habits, willpower is not enough. Okay. So he's like, willpower's not enough. What you have to do is you have to change. So you'll have 3 habits that are taking you away from what you're trying to do, and you need to change them into 3 habits that are taking you towards it. So literally that day, I was like, okay, if I keep doing 7:30 here, 7:30 over there, I'm never going to get ready for this bike ride. And I was terrified that I was going to fail, very badly terrified, but we won't go into that. Like I spent 6 months being terrified, realistically. And so right that day, what I did, and you might want to do this, Kerry, is I put an alarm on my phone for 5 o'clock that said stop work and do something else that isn't eating or drinking. And I set it Monday to Friday, 5 o'clock. And the first day that I did it, and I finished work at 5 o'clock, and I had to change my day. So when my friend phoned up to gossip because she didn't have nothing to do, I'd be like, sorry, call me later. And I had to judge, do I want to sign on for that webinar tonight? Because I'm just supporting somebody and not actually doing anything constructive. So I made these decisions. But the first time I did it and I finished work at 5 o'clock, oh my God, what? All that time, an extra 2.5 hours in my day that I did not know what to do with. I was like, is this what people have that come home at 5 o'clock and finish a job? Is this this freedom, this massive amount of time? That was 3 years ago, and I still finished at 5 o'clock. If I'm not finishing at 5 o'clock, trust me, I begrudge doing sometimes at 6:30, but if I'm not doing it, it's for a good reason. But if I get to 5 o'clock and my alarm doesn't even go off anymore, I just get to 5 o'clock and I'm like, what am I doing here that I need to do? What's actually giving me something here? And if it's not, then I'll come off. And that's not me. That's Tony Robbins. Okay, so I'll let him have that credit, Mr. NLP. But it is very much, that is something that I learned was, it isn't, we can't all just do this because we want to do it. We have to just put little habits in. So yeah, okay, bring back the alarm. Just put it on your phone, not at the weekends. 5 o'clock, stop work. And it's amazing how much your mind goes, okay, I'm stopping work, because you've already made the decision. Otherwise, it just runs on and procrastinates. And of all the things I did that year, I won awards, I did podcasts. In the end, I did the bike ride. What else did I do? The bike ride. Oh, I got my own radio show. I did all the other stuff, right? All the magazines, books, all sorts of things published. The one thing that everybody was like, oh my God, that's amazing. I can't believe you did that. Like, just setting an alarm for 5 o'clock was the miracle that people was like just life-changing. All the things I did that I thought was life-changing didn't matter to them, but setting that alarm, putting a boundary in for me, literally for me to do. And sometimes I went to spin class. Sometimes I just went upstairs and read a book. I did the washing. But what it did allow me to do was I had the time that I needed on the Saturday to do the big bike ride. I needed to have like 3-4 hours to do the big training bike ride. So that day I could be guilt-free to go and do what I needed to do to achieve what I wanted to achieve. Out of terror. Don't think there's any virtual like altruism out of this. It was pure terror. My friend had done it before and she kept saying, if you get on that bus, Deb, I'll call you Margaret. It's a different story. So I was just like, no, I can't. Schedule my social media so it gets done. Yeah. Claire, schedule. So, okay, if you're going to schedule social media so it gets done, is there something a little bit more firm than that? Is it like, when are you going to schedule social media? What's the plan? So make it real. So have that thing that's going to stretch you. But like the 5 o'clock thing was like, I have to finish at 5. So are you going to schedule your social media every Monday morning, every Sunday night,
Yeah, every Sunday I
Yeah.
need to be scheduling, because at the moment I keep going, oh, social media, and then I give it away from it because it's just not the thing that I enjoy or like doing. So that is a big stretch for me. For most people, it's kind of second nature, but for me, it's like, no, I'm really now going to do it.
What do you think makes it difficult for you? Is it that you don't have the posts ready, that you're struggling for content? Joe does social media, by the way, just so you know, cross you over a little bit.
Aha. Partially, but it's more that I personally don't see any value in social media. Okay, I'm sure that's a discussion Joe and I could really have a good talk about. But
I'll let you two fight that out of the ring.
but I just don't. I don't come from the generation of social media. And so I still mentally, internally, I still have this little battle going on. Like, what's the point?
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Have you ever got any leads or interest from social media?
No, not a lot.
Never. I don't know. Any or not a lot?
No.
Okay,
None.
definitely need to go and speak to Joe.
Yeah.
So maybe either if you went and spoke to somebody who did social media, so maybe your step is a little bit smaller into go and do some research on social media to see what people are interested in your scheme, and you could go and do that on ChatGPT. Don't sweat too much. I know Joe's going to hit me, but either outsource it for someone to do, or go and find out what it is that you're doing that isn't working, because you won't consistently do it. Like, you won't. It's a bit like being on a diet and never losing any weight. Sooner or later, you're going to go, stuff it. I'm not doing this anymore. So break it back a little bit and go, what's the bit that's difficult? Because scheduling is not difficult. You're going, I've got to give up an hour of my life for no return. And that comes back down to going, am I eating too many carbs? Do you know what I mean? What's the little glitch? So go back and fix the problem and go, am I not talking to my target audience? Well done, Joe. I love it. Look, she's just put a link in the thing there. But go back and go, what do I need to fix to make that a doable habit? Otherwise, you're fighting against yourself. That's you versus you. And it won't work. And I don't mean that's for fail, but it won't. And you'll get fed up with yourself. And then you'll be like, I'm rubbish at this. And you'll start with that horrible hatred talk again. And be like, I'm rubbish at this, don't know how to do it, whatever. So to fix it, you have to go back a little bit and go, what isn't working? What hook is it? Or what's the best structure? Do you start with a headline that is, are you talking about Jamaica right now? Like, what would you do if you were stranded in Jamaica and you're in the hotel? How would that work? How would booking through a travel agent have helped those people? I would want to know. I'd be reading that right now. What about the people in Cuba who didn't know it was coming and they didn't do any preparation? All of a sudden they get hit in Cuba. So stuff like that might be more topical. But I will leave you in Joe's hands there. So somebody's just gone, I have to go back up here. But well done for owning up to the thing that you're struggling with. You just need to fix it. Taryn, write every day, even if it's only 200 words, so I can get my book finished. Oh my God, I hate writing. And I have 3 books. I hate it with a passion. When I did my NLP, I bounced around. I had this essay to do, and I bounced on a 3-month extension on it. And then I procrastinated so much, this is honest truth, so much that I hoovered my fridge drawer. You know, the one at the bottom, I hoovered the onion bits and all. I got the dice in it because I was sitting here and I was like, I'll probably just need to do that first, right? And then I phoned up my tutor and said, he said, no, you're not having an extension. You've had 3 months. I'm not giving you another one. Get it in by Sunday or not. And I was like, oh. And he's like, you know it. I know you know it. You have to prove it. So what I did, and this worked for me, and I don't know for other people writing, my head's too fast for me to get the words out to type them. So now what I do is I go onto Zoom and I record myself answering all the questions, and then I transcribe it, and then I edit that. And that works for me brilliantly. And my essay, they said, was the most me essay I've ever written because I could speak it. And it costs nothing because it transcribes it for you. So I don't know if that helped you. So I am going to send you the workbook so that you can go through it. There's some exercises and stuff. And also, if you don't want to visualize your new self in the shower, I'm going to send you a recorded visualization, which I've just done before here. So if it's terrible, don't laugh at it, all right? Because I've never done anything like this before. But I'm sending that to you so that you can replay it every morning when you're brushing your teeth. It's only minutes. It might even want to time it. Brushing your teeth or when you're walking the dog or whatever. I just want you to just keep picturing, just because that's the way that it works. That's the way the compound works, is that you keep going, keep going, keep going. I guarantee I told myself that I was a speaker, I was a TEDx speaker, I won't come home. Nothing happened because they didn't publish it for a month. And everyone's like, it kind of died a death. And I was thinking, what do I do? How do I trump that? How do I do something bigger and better than the TEDx? And then it came out, and that was like, boom. That was literally life changing. People came up to me in the pub and shook my hands because for the first time ever, they could understand something I did. Because when you're a coach, most people don't have a clue what you're doing. Oh, for Kerry, hang on. I'm not sure the question. Did I miss something before? So Kerry H has done the alarm. Terry, somebody say, how do we do this? I missed that bit. Ah, okay. I'll answer that in a minute. So basically I'm going to send you the workbook. I'll send it on an email for you. There is an email on the Eventbrite, so you should get it afterwards. But if you don't, message me, drop on Facebook. So I'm going to just tell you, if you wanted to carry on working with me, if today you found something inside you, it moved something, and you want to continue that journey and you don't want to do it on your own, I do have a small membership, which is called the Diamond Room. And the Diamond Room is where we have a small community, which Claire's just joined and Diana's a member of as well. It's a space really for us to develop and work on this. It's not a space just for speakers. It's a space for people who want to become that person, that woman that they absolutely know they should be, but they're waiting for someone to tell them that they're okay, that they're ready. And that's what we work on. So it's a small membership. It's very early days at the moment. There's a link in the email that you get afterwards if you'd like to do it. There's an offer on that. It's no contract. If you come in and you enjoy it, I give you PR opportunities. I don't know if Diane applied for the MC one that I found for you the other day. PR opportunities, magazine opportunities, stage opportunities, but we also do some fun stuff. We do hot seating, we do some Q&A. So if you're struggling with something like the book, you're struggling, that would be the place to answer. Next week, as a bonus, I'm doing a TEDx training. So how to get your TEDx talk 12 to 15 minutes. I'm going to do that as that's Wednesday, which I'll put in the new WhatsApp group. So that's Wednesday. So if you're interested in something like that, let me know and I will chat with you and explain a little bit more about it. There's no pressure. I'm not here to do a big sales thing. I just want to, this happened for me and I want it to happen to other people and create a movement, because I'm going to be really cheesy, right? Pressure creates diamonds. We've all been under pressure. The pressure is what creates the magic and the diamonds. And that's what brings us to where we want to be. I had a car accident. I'd probably have 10 hair salons and be a dry-skinned, blowsy blonde person by now, instead of whatever with varicose veins. If I'd not had a car accident and had to give up hairdressing, I'll be backachy and veiny and all sorts of things, but running around with dealing with loads of people. So that changed my life. Everyone's had something life-changing, but we've become who we're meant to be, right? So just to finish, so if anyone's got any questions, ask questions, because I have a little closing visualization and obviously there's no Q&A. So anybody got a question for me about the Diamond Room? Or oh, Claire's had to drop out, that's fine, I'll catch up there. So if not, we're back to close your eyes then. So close your eyes, deep breath in, breathe out through your mouth. Feel your shoulders just dropping down. Feel nice and relaxed. So I want you to feel her standing beside you. This woman, this person, this new you that you're becoming. I want you to feel her standing beside you. She's calm, she's grounded, she's ready. She's taking your hand and she says, I've been waiting for you. Breathe her in, because you are already her. She's not someone you've become. She's just someone you remember. I want you to say to yourself, I am no longer waiting to be chosen. I choose myself. Thank you, everybody. I hope that worked for everybody. Just drop one last word for me. I'm a nag, I know. Describe how you feel right now. Put that into the notes for me, or unmic yourself and just tell me how you feel. Ready. I love it, Joe. That's like, makes my heart go dippity bop. Taryn, thank you. That was a wonderful session. Thank you. Well, thank you for your time. I know how precious our time is, and you feel ready to write every day. Hang on. It says new replies. The phone's playing up. Ready, ready, ready. Amazing. I would love to see any of you, I call them my little diamonds, to be my little diamonds. I shouldn't say little really, but I would love any of you to come into the diamond room and just to bring this further, to grow it, to get you. I can find you the stages, but it isn't about speaking on stages. It's about feeling like you are the person that deserves to be on that stage, to finish that book, to have that book in your hand, to be doing the things that you want to do, to be finishing at 5 o'clock, Kerry, and going, I'm going to do something amazing. It's like, what? I've got a whole evening. To think that we deserve that, it does take a little bit more work. So you can either do it on your own, or you can come and let me help you. So all I want to say is thank you. I'm so happy that you felt a shift, and I hope that continues for you. Thank you. If you don't get the email with the workbook, and you don't get the email with the excited, I love that. If you don't get it, then come and find me. If you want my socials, Instagram is at Debbie Bryan Coach. I think I'm Debbie Bryan on Facebook. I've got a couple. Debbie Bryan on LinkedIn, and I'm on TikTok too. So contact me however you can, or I know some of you have come through Joe. Thank you, Joe, for that. If you can't get it, but sometimes Eventbrite doesn't do what I want it to do, and I don't want you to miss out. So I've recorded the visualization for not the ones that we've done already, a little bit different. And as I say, the workbook is there for you to do, and the invitation to the diamond room is also there for you. I think I've lost Diane, have I? Maybe. So there is an offer on the diamond room. It's a reduced one because it's a founder group, and it's I think at the moment it's 100, and it will be 300. So, but as I say, there's no contract. If you come into it and you find for a month that you don't get any value, just cancel. I know that I'll give the value, so that's a double-edged sword for me. But I am going to let you go, and thank you so much for this evening. It's been wonderful for me. Hope it's been wonderful for you.
Thank you. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thanks, Taryn and Kerry. Taryn and Kerry, it's lovely to meet you.
And you. Lovely to meet you.
Thank you.